if it's not being by yourself. I want to be gentle to the body on the shelf. It's only water, it's only fire, it's only love. It's only slaughter, we're only liars, it's only blood. They're only thoughts that I'm having exhausted within my heart. You're only crying, you're only lying. Only water, it's only fire, it's only love. It's only love. Running with the speed of light, illuminate what's left behind. My feet barely touch the ground, barely make a sound. Can't stop running away. Can't stop running away.
All right. What's up, guys? Got the sneezes in early. We are ready to roll. Oh, man. Sen, what's up? Harshi, Carlos, ¿qué tal, Ibrenez? Antonio, Patrick. Good to see you guys on here. Seth, Edgar, Gabriel, Joe, Brandon, Cesar. What's up, Nicholas, Jesus, Alfredo, Nikki in here, Juan, Feliz Dia. Good to have everyone on the channel. Appreciate all of you that are, doing the liking and the subscribing and all that good stuff. The sneeze. 2 of them. There it is. It's going to be a good session. 1 for the Open and 1 for FOMC. NQ over YM. What's up? In which way? What's up, brother? What up, Hector? Hello, Karen. Caesar. ¿Cómo estás? We got film in here. All right, let's dive in. Okay, so we have bringing up indices here real quick, right off the rip. We can take a look at how this traded compared to yesterday. Yesterday we had a nice New York Open, just sends the market, taking out tons of liquidity. On the 1 minute, we had like a pump, drop right away, come back again, and then fall off. So it happened very quickly here. But there's definitely some nice price action in here. We just have to come and investigate it a little bit more. So let me go ahead and use our replay tool over here. And here we can see where the volume picks up. So you have New York Open right there. That's that first minute. Some good old movement. Clearing liquidity. The market drops. Picks up again. So like basically right around here. We get one more push before the market drops. So looking for sells around here. 46,275-ish. Makes sense. Now, I do want to say for indices, if you're trading futures, remember we are looking at different contracts now. Like a different rollover. So we are on YMZ. You'll notice that if you're trading something like Top Step X, this is just changed on its own. It's the new contract in here. If you're trading with other firms, you just want to make sure, or if you're trading with your own money, you want to make sure you're trading the right contract sizes over here. So just to let you know, and then to fast forward, let's go to the present now. Here's where we have Dow. So Dow has been slowly working its way back to the upside. If you take a look at the way it's been pulling back, we're already sitting at around a 50% pullback in this structure, and that's off the open. If we look at NASDAQ also pushed higher. Having its bullish move happen right here. So we don't quite take out any liquidity. We actually just kind of trade into this zone, into this area right there. So we just have one push up, and then the market ends up closing down here. So I really don't like I don't really see quality opportunity for shorting. I could see the market playing into this imbalance, but yeah, it's not ideal just considering the liquidity we have here. So despite there being kind of like an order block right here, I don't like it as much. And we have London highs, Tokyo highs, so it just seems like we could be taking out liquidity over here before anything. So not much that I'm really super focused on taking there. What makes more sense would be to take these NASDAQ buys down here. Now, if you look at S&P already worked its way lower, just tapping into this area that we had marked up. This happened during Monday's London session. Nice spike down, rebalancing, continuation. So we see the mitigation already happen over here. Meanwhile, while S&P spiked down like that, that actually only created equal lows liquidity here for Dow Jones. So, considering that Dow has been, it's just held up its structure significantly better. So from yesterday, here was Tuesday's low on S&P. Here was, for example, like right here, just like 30 minutes after the open, we make the low for the day for Dow Jones, while S&P, breaks below here during London today. NASDAQ does the same thing. However, NASDAQ just plays into this order block and imbalance instead of working its way all the way down. So, could this zone down here be the area of interest for FOMC? That is the question here. And I think it's likely. So as quality as a setup like this looks like on Dow on its own, I want to see how NASDAQ moves. If we get, for example, let's say I would love to have NASDAQ just kind of clear these highs, play up into this range, and then for Dow to just also maybe move up at a much slower pace so that we could have a pretty valid play right there. So that's what would be ideal. If we start seeing Dow Jones just go bullish significantly faster than the NASDAQ, then I might not have this trade in the bag, and I might have to just kind of sit on my hands, if you will. So right now, my suggestion would be, if you do like trading Dow Jones, if you like the setup, at least if you're still considering it and just kind of, you're going to wait, well, I would still recommend to just know, okay, what kind of contract size can I approach with this trade? Just so you're ready to market execute when the time comes. Now, to recap a couple things here, our oil sell did finally break down below. So we did see the market push all the way down to here. Max 2R on this sell. I'm already trading with my stops at break even. A lot of this came back. So chilling right there. So if you're looking at a couple things, yesterday we saw a nice little sweep down here. The market continued, made higher highs. So in the 5-minute, the market created good demand, pretty bullish. We saw a nice little bounce here. Market pulled back one more time, deep pullback, and then from here we see the continuation. So depending on how you traded this, because I know in the syndicate yesterday, traders, I believe, were looking at this zone. So depending on where you had your entry, I don't know if you guys traded during London, then either you guys are running in some profit or maybe you got stopped out break even on this type of trade here. But yeah, at the moment, we did see this. This took a lot longer than we would have probably wanted it to, but we did see the trade finally at least do its thing, get to a 2R before turning around. So kind of depends on your approach here. Now what I also have is here below, we saw with Tuesday's London session a nice break below a lot of the support, a lot of these lows, and then the continuation. So definitely thinking that we can maybe get a reversal out of here. Now with oil as well, I do want to add that we are seeing a contract switch over here too soon. So just so you guys are ready for this as well. Could start trading here with CLX in the near future. I think we need a bit more volume. It looks like we still have better fills on this side. So let's see. I'm still running this here. Maybe this continues to drop and things keep going my way. My exit with this idea is to trade this into, further lows, getting to about a 3R back down in this zone. We'll see if this is actually going to stay here. If this just drops back here fast, then I'm not going to look to trade this yet. All right, we have New York open in a minute. Un minuto. Let's see how it rolls. See what we get. What's up? I took a 2R with oil. Nice. Guten Morgen. What about the pump to make NQ London high? Okay, let's look at that. So the pump to make NQ London highs, for me, this looks like equal highs over here. So this looks like liquidity. And then on top of that, we're trading right near this area. So yeah, no, I'm not really sold on anything here. I'm not looking to short NASDAQ. I know it pushed up to here and then we made a double top and then it dropped. So if you are interested in shorting something in here, then yeah, go for it. But yeah, not really like my favorite setup there. Dow already pushing significantly bullish here. I think it's going to get into the zone first. And I don't necessarily know if, this is one of those trades where, as enticing as it looks, and this might even play out, the way it's looking right now, I don't necessarily believe, I might not take it. I want to see if NQ just steps up big time and just clears a ton of this liquidity for it to play out. So would love to see it. So let's see. Right now it's sitting right around where I would have wanted to take the trade. But considering where we have NASDAQ still within this range, S&P, still within the consolidation as well. Going to go ahead and just stay out of this. Yeah. Seeing a deep pullback, 886 there on Dow Jones. Whereas I think NASDAQ could still clear the consolidation, all of these highs. So I'm going to stay out of this. Now, what we could see, we might see, a sweep of liquidity, and then we get the market to give us a different movement. So Right now we're seeing NASDAQ played into this order block, starting to reject a bit. I would be more inclined to taking shorts on indices if we clear some of this liquidity, and then if we were to lose like momentum right away, see more demand build up over here, and then maybe a short, something like that. I could see work, but we'll just wait and see. Right now, Dow right around that 46,300. So obviously I didn't pull the trigger on anything here. I'm staying out of the market. We're seeing Dow is leading this bullish movement aggressively. So with NASDAQ having potential to sweep these highs, I don't see a need to take this. Now we are seeing S&P already take out London highs. We do have Asian session highs as well, though. So market might want to build above and take out Tokyo highs here. So, I'm playing this by. I'm still not taking a position on Dow. And trading, if you think about how setups show up all of the time, I think the hardest part about trading is not finding a good setup. It's saying no to average setups, to decent setups, to your desire to just be in the market. So independently, like, I don't just trade one indice. I do keep in mind, the collective movement behind all of these. And if it's not giving me the signs, then, can't be doing nothing. Now, what we are starting to see is we did see NASDAQ take out liquidity here. So we did see it take out these highs. It's with a spike over to here. We see this crash down. Now it's starting to make stronger lows. So if we end up, for example, staying bearish, really holding it down on the bearish side of things, then we could be looking for shorts. Entonces, si esto se mantiene bajista, construye más demanda, posiblemente podríamos vender. Todavía no se confirma esto. So this isn't a confirmed sell or anything like that. All I'm saying is if we stay bearish, we see a shift in structure and just strong demand, then on a pullback, I would be open to shorting. Not there yet, but we could get something like that. Now, since we have that liquidity right here, though, then I would risk less on this setup just because of the liquidity here. The market could just prioritize taking out liquidity than mitigating this idea. But this does have some pretty good backing behind it. Like, we have a lot of liquidity here. So during London session, hours worth of retail here, just building up. So this clearing the highs makes sense. Now we just got to see if it's gonna hold it down or how this is gonna show up. So look at that, guys. We avoided this sell. Well done. How does it feel there? I took that 5-minute pump on NQ. Here? Or here? So NASDAQ is giving little by little more and more signs for a possible sell over here. Now, as you guys are going through this, and I know you've seen this happen before, but when you choose not to, and this is like a conscious awareness that I think helps to trust yourself more, to trust your system, but it's like, remember how it feels when you don't choose your your desires. You don't choose that, like, you know, the instinct to just be in the market. Like, if you chose not to take Dow Jones because it wasn't giving you the signs that you needed, it wasn't following, you know, the specific rules that you need, and now that you avoided taking a loss, just keep that in mind. You know, like, remember, like, okay, yeah, that's right. Like, here in this example, by following my system, I did avoid a loss. Great. That helps you just trust in future setups or in future, like, your future discernment on these ideas. So, goes a long way. No, the one I said about London High from the trap candle. Oh, from here. Got it. Cool. Nice. Good play, man. Yeah, the double top here kind of threw me off a little bit. I see what you're saying. And maybe because it was only a couple minutes, you know, like a little 5-minute one, why it had less of a priority. But yeah, I see it. I mean, I totally see what you're looking at when it just takes out these highs. So good stuff, dude. Quality. Now what we're seeing is NASDAQ taking out these lows, and these are moving in opposite directions. So one of the things that I was curious about here was how we kind of swept down below, quickly came right back up. This looks like pretty much, you know, what a shakeout setup would look like. The market comes back down to here. I think we could actually go lower. So maybe some people would be inclined to take some buy positions over here. S&P as well worked its way all the way down and has continued to rally. So S&P just kind of like splitting the difference between Dow and NASDAQ is what it seems like. So right now, if we can stay bearish here, then I really am interested in shorts. Avoiding a loss is really a win. Exactly. Alonzo said, didn't line up with my system. Feel that. All right, yeah, so we're seeing these go in obviously different directions. If we look at, let's say, YM continuous here, then what do we notice about what we're seeing with Dow Jones? All right, Dow back at it again. So, cool. Now we're holding it down here for several minutes, not just pushing briefly, but it seems like it's starting to create more bearish structure. So, yeah, sell over here could have some potential. Let's wait it out. And honestly, taking a buy position was pretty difficult here. So let's see where we're taking this to now. Now this is going back to a different to the previous contract, because we had price action over here before, and then we're basically just clearing these highs. I don't have entries over here, so kind of just seeing what we get over here. We may see, if we start to just see this continue to stay bullish, then this could be the beginning of bullish structure on Dow, and on top of that, this might be the beginning of a shakeout as well. So I'm not going to force a buy here, just considering how bullish we've seen Dow. But since these are moving in completely opposite directions, I would not be shocked if we see NASDAQ play out of this zone. Here we had previous levels of support. We have the imbalance over here. Yeah, I would not be shocked at all if the market wants to continue to go bullish from where we're at over here. Only because if we were looking at NASDAQ independently, this does look like a pretty quality area to long the market. So just kind of makes sense. All right, so what do you guys think? What's the consensus here with NASDAQ overall? How do we feel about the market here? Is it worth taking a light risk? Is it just, let the market just kind of build up and just let it play into a sell position? How do we feel about this, guys? I think considering they're moving in opposite directions, I think a small risk trade here, I'm interested in that. Doesn't have to be a full 1R risk. Could be even a quarter to a half. Just playing out of where we've seen support before. Here we took out liquidity. The market immediately rebalanced, maintained structure, and then I do think that we could see the market rally from here. So there it goes. All right. So anyone here take the buy on NASDAQ so far? This is where I got my little entry. Just a little play on this. Nothing crazy. So now Dow is starting to lose all this momentum. At the same time, we're starting to see NASDAQ reverse. The good thing is we're starting to see NASDAQ keep trading down here. So now we've been below for about 7-8 minutes, especially on this structure. So it's giving more and more clear signs for a sell, I think, later on. Price comes back down. Doesn't seem to want to hold these levels still. Also good signs. Okay. Now remember, for today, we have CAD news here right now. We have some more CAD news in about a little under an hour, like 45 minutes. And then finally we have FOMC. Remember, FOMC, we are going to be having live in the school. So if you're not in the school community, definitely make sure you get in there. That's where we're going to be trading FOMC live. It'll be, the ability to be very interactive. So if you guys have setups, questions, you can unmute yourselves and do all that good stuff. So make sure you're in the community there. Now, one thing I want us to keep in mind over here as well. Let's see. Following up here on oil, we have the market started to kind of move away from this area. So starting to make its bearish move here. Let's see if we continue to work our sell down. Relating to metals, gold here dropped down to this zone. I don't know if any of you guys took this during London, but we got the move down to this little order block. I don't necessarily trade something like this, but I could see some of you might have. And then silver is continuing to trade more bearish than the rest of these. Since silver was dropping more aggressively, it was dropping further down. Silver was not something for us to trade by any means. So hopefully you guys opted out of buying silver during this as it was dumping down, since it wasn't really valid anymore. So just some pretty quick updates there. Regarding trades with gold or silver in the future, though, this pump up here on silver before the market, basically shook out again. We could be seeing sells out of here, though, in the future for sure. So if we look at, let's say we go down to like the 5-minute, I definitely think we have a pump to the upside that we can see reverse out of here. So especially if silver stays being the one that moves slower to the upside, I think we have that, over here. And then, but to add a little more context to this too, and we'll look at gold as well, we do see that spike down with silver. This happened around 30 minutes ago, or 3 hours ago. So we see that push down, boom, nice little move to the downside, and then the market rally. So this takes out liquidity, takes out some lows, and then runs. So yeah, not a bad move here. Does gold give us something similar? And gold does spike down and then rally, but just not at the same pace. Like, it pushes down, sure. It's a bit more mellow though. So not as aggressive on the way down. And then the market rallies. If we see a shift in structure, then I'm open to something here. But until then, not quite. Now, I do want to give some perspective here on indices. So NASDAQ surviving, pushing forward here. Dow still holding up pretty well. Now, here's my question for you guys. Is this worth a short? Is this worth a short? The market takes out the high, comes crashing down. We drop down to here. So we break below these previous lows. The market gets below for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes. And then as soon as we get down to these levels, we immediately reverse again. So is it worth still selling this? Do you guys think that the drop to here was to create a lower low, to create a bearish trend? Or was this drop down into the zone does this have a different intention? Was this to liquidate buyers, lure in sellers, and then make its move? What are your thoughts, guys? So the way I'm looking at this, I'm not going to sell this. Yo no voy a vender. So I'm going to delete this. Or I could leave it there, but I'm not looking to sell in this zone anymore. I think I would rather not, considering how this to me doesn't show us signs that the market had demand over here, that there was this need for the market to, continue to sell here, and that the price just wants to more so keep going further down and down and down. So when price struggles to stay here, when there's not enough selling happening over here and price just immediately comes back up, It's just not enough proof for me. So even though it's like okay, it's not great. And we have the luxury of only trading what's great, right? That is our luxury here. So yeah, that's what I got going on right now. So let's see here. So let's see how it goes. We are starting to lose a little bit of momentum. Market pushed up into this little imbalance, dropped a little bit. Looks like it's pumping right back up. All right, so leave that at that. If you did take NASDAQ buys, at this point, guys, I think it's probably a good idea to just protect your stops. So protect your entries. I think there's no reason to take any losses if the market were to turn around. And right now, for my trade, I'm about to hit TP. So this is running. It's going to be a 3R soon. Well, it could be. Looks like it's likely. 3R on a smaller risk trade. Let's see. Let me look at the chat. See if anybody took this with me. And remember, we do have this liquidity here. So if you wanted to see this, go a little bit further out, take out that London session, those London session highs, then it could definitely do that. All right, let's see. What's up, chat? Nah, I was waiting for S. Okay. S&P lagging? Well, remember, S&P trades in between them both, so these weren't really doing either setup here. S&P had already done the shakeout idea, and it's just trading between Dow and NASDAQ, so I was kind of just looking at this independently. CFD gold looks a bit different. Yeah, CFD's gold is always going to look different like that. Especially when we starting to see contracts roll over. Yeah, you'll see it a little bit different. Mike, in the classroom in Tradetopia, is there a class on correlation with NASDAQ and Dow Jones? I don't think so, actually. I don't know if I have a specific video on like indices. That's a workshop that I could definitely do. I would have to host probably like a 2-day thing. So here looks like it just tapped into this area right there, and then just bleeding out now. So this looks like it mitigated nicely. Look at that, just tapped into this perfectly and then bled out. It's instantly just crashing. Wow, this missed that. I had an exit here for... I actually missed my exit by less than a point. That's so sad. Already break even. Was going to take the trade at 0.25%, and I took it at 0.025%. It'd be like that sometimes. Took NAS and just hit my exit. Nice. It hasn't taken the highs. I think that low is perfect by opportunity. Cool. Thinking it was a higher time frame retracement and going to make higher highs. Karen said, I think 9 minutes is good. Okay. So yeah, it's your call. It's kind of like, for me, I didn't fully trust this low, but either way, it looks like the market wanted to reject this anyways, so it did push down off the rip. Let's see if this is going to bounce back up or not. So it's pushing a little bit here. Now, considering this aggressive rejection that we just got, if this does continue, then more than likely I feel like we're going to push towards these London highs. If we break up here, I think that we probably keep going higher. Now, on the other hand, remember these, it looks like US 30 and NASDAQ are moving kind of together now. They're kind of on the same page. So if Dow is going to fill this imbalance, I wonder if it's just going to keep pushing NASDAQ lower. So out of curiosity, did anyone trade this? Did anyone short NASDAQ? Right now, it's kind of respecting structure. Let's see if it bounces. I'm not looking to do anything else in here. I'm chilling. Because even the way it goes up and then right back down, like any new entries don't really make sense for me. So let's see. Playing at a structure. Yeah, this basically traded right out of the open, New York open, these order blocks, and then just bled. Just tanked. This is so sad. Had I actually had my take profit in the right place, I would have taken my exit. Instead, I gave it basically all back. Disappointing. All right, so with the way the market's moving now, although there was that little, here you have this like last minute sell-off and then the market rallied, I'm not going to, pursue this again and take another entry like, oh no, like the market turned around on me. Let me just go revenge trade back and let me just throw some money at this thing. Let me see if I can get this back again. No reason to do it if there's no confirmation. So even though this actually hit TP for me on this chart, I put it 0.5 higher on my actual chart here. Sad. All right, give me a second to just cry about it. I'm going to screenshot this so you guys can see it later. Make a training called How to Give Back Thousands to the Market. All right, so outside of metals, gold been pushing, silver also doing its thing. The silver buy might honestly be nice. So I'll keep an eye on this one. Because remember, we have FOMC later, and that's 2 news events. It's not just interest rates, but it's also the press conference. So we got 2. Mike, on lower time frame, are we still applying the same executions? What do you mean? Really wanted to take it short, but I didn't want to break my rules. That's good. That's how it's done. I've learned the hard way that no FOMC days is better to take 1 to 2 before the meeting. Yeah, I've seen that too. Definitely seen that too. So yeah, this mitigated really well. I don't know if Karen, I think you said you were down to take this. I don't know if you did take it, but yeah, good rejection. You know what, too? Looking at this, let me just have it set like that. But looking at it this way, one thing that I does make a lot of sense is just the fact that since NASDAQ had struggled to stay bullish, when it did come back over here, when it did come back up to this, maybe since like Dow was already ripping so aggressively, it kind of had less momentum anyways. So that's one idea. Now, what could be playing out more is this idea that you guys brought up with S&P. So, like, for example, S&P has left liquidity right over here. We got liquidity here. So I wonder if we end up seeing a play out of this, because now finally, oh, you know what? We did have some clues here for at least profits, taking exits. S&P took out these Tokyo, London highs. So it pushed NASDAQ and S&P pushed higher. S&P takes out liquidity. So these Asian session high liquidities, it still makes more. So it's not like I would sell anything over here. We still have more liquidity now. But when this takes out these highs, then this entices buyers. This takes out sellers. That's where you can see an exchange of money. So that was like the perfect moment for NASDAQ to kind of lose that steam and then come down. That's why I had my exit here as well. 2 NAS sells banked, 1 to 3 and 1 to 2. Good stuff, man. 5R right there off the rip. Nice. Now we have NASDAQ taking London lows. Okay. So could we be looking at possibly buying NASDAQ again now that we've cleared these lows, right? That's where we had anyone who was buying has their stop losses generally below this low over here. So now that we liquidate this area and immediately come back up. So we again are seeing signs that there's very little demand at these levels. So I'm interested. My interest has been piqued here. I would want to get, so now that we've seen the sweep of this liquidity, we're seeing, as again, Dow going down when NASDAQ wants to go up. That kind of splits S&P. So here, there's two ways we could look at this. Dow is squeezing, so it's just building up sideways for the last 30 minutes almost. Just sideways movement. NASDAQ, on the other hand, is liquidating, so it's clearing areas. So we cleared the lows. Now the last 3-4 minutes, we've worked our way back up to here. Ideally, we can kind of build sideways, and then maybe we have a buy position on NASDAQ somewhere like over here, and then let this thing come back up again. So this seems to have a possibility, especially because it looks like Dow and NASDAQ are on just opposite sides of the game today. So when one goes up, the other one goes down. So similar approach, I would take this with when we're moving inverted like this. I don't like to risk the full amount because my win rate at least is a little bit lower with these kinds of setups. So I prefer to just kind of be in the game but not have full exposure. All right, so let's see how this goes. Let's see. Let's see if we get a little setup. What do you guys think? Is this enough demand? Bless you. Is this enough demand? Are we going to just see the market bleed some more? Because what we don't know for sure is if Dow keeps pushing down, are they just going to get on the same page? What if NASDAQ and Dow just want to keep dropping together then? So that's just my take here. I'm going to approach this with just a little bit of risk here. Nothing crazy. All right, took my entry here. So I took a small risk entry right here. Now, this lured in sellers, this starts to break above. But here's the thing, look at this. Dow and Nas are kind of moving together. I don't love that. I like, and this is where, and you guys have seen this happen as price develops. Sometimes they get back on the same page, and then they're dropping, they're pushing down together, or they're going higher together. And so, yep, I have a small risk set up on this. Let's see how it unfolds. While this continues to move through, let's look at the majors real quick. Let's see if we have anything that is setting up for something quality. Let's see. Australian here. Not much. Not much going on. We have these buys in these lower zones. This is going all the way back to CPI. So CPI definitely we can definitely see mitigation, and you have this move across the board. So Australian has it, the pound, CAD futures, euro, like all of these have this setup, and then there's this next setup that happened on less pairs, which was yesterday's news event. So we had that spike down. It's easier to see on the 15. But yesterday we had this move here, market sweeps and then runs. So, this is apparent with the euro, with the yen. The yen looks like a better buy even right now because it's trading much higher. And then same thing with like the Swiss franc, has that sweep down and then the continuation. So all of these setups also have it. And I'm going to give you guys the time right now to mark these up. That way you just have the opportunity here to analyze this, actually like prove to yourself that you're able to mark these things up. Because if you're just watching me but never actually going through the motions yourself, you're not getting better. All right, so if you guys take a look at Nas and Dow, they're kind of looking like they're just trading the same. It doesn't really look like these are on like if Dow is going to just bleed out and then fill in balance down here, keep trading lower, I feel like it's just going to keep pushing NASDAQ down too then. Yeah, there we go. See? So like now I like this setup less and less. I like this setup less and less as we're sitting in it. Yeah, just added transparency here. So you can choose to opt out. It's sitting at right around entry. Like, I get it if, and this is the big if, right? Which is why the risk is the way that it is. If these move in opposite directions, then cool, it could work out nicely. If it's not, and they're going to move in unison, then yeah, this is going to get clapped. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to actually just get out of this trade, and then not even deal with any of this. I'm cool with that. If it played out, it plays out. But the way I'm seeing it now, I'm not entirely sold on the idea. Plus, when we swept liquidity here, we came up, we're chopping up here. We're holding demand pretty decent. So could it still run? Yeah, but considering how these are moving, I feel like there's a lot more downside than upside to it. So we'll find out. When the market squeezes like this as well, so we've seen it squeezing for the last 10, 15 minutes, there can be a big breakout. So whether it's down or up. So the RR is either, you have your -1R, or you do have, you take the rest of it home. So yeah, out of curiosity, who's going to let this thing ride, take the long? Who's going to stay out of the market? All right, so yeah, make sure you guys mark up Swiss, yen, euro for this 15-minute setup. My opinion, I think these could look promising, yen and Swiss specifically. And depending on what kind of movement we get today, sometimes these can be pretty aggressive. I don't think we work all the way down to here, though. That would be pretty extreme to get something like that. So I don't think we'll get all the way down, but getting down to these 15-minute levels, yeah, that I could definitely see. And then that brings us to, like, if we check out oil, right? Oil back at basically at entry. So if you were holding oil sells from yesterday, then if you didn't take profit within this, then you're looking at break even now. What's going on with my internet here? Okay, there we go. All right, NASDAQ pushing more bullish now, so actually breaking above this liquidity. So if anybody here was still holding those NASDAQ buys, then it is going in your favor a little bit here. Morning, Larry. Staying out. Okay, cool. Any thoughts on open door technology stocks? I got my entry around 80 cents and I already took half my position out at $10. Damn. You're up like 12, 13x. That's fire. Open door technologies. I know nothing about that. I can look at a chart for you, but Yeah, I don't have like prior experience with that. Let's see. Open Door Technologies. Where was the call out, bro? I didn't get a call about this 80-cent buy. What's good with that? What a G. Damn. What even is this? What a rally. Nice little 12x. So you got this at like, oof, this was tiny. Yeah, this was sitting in the like 500 million market cap at the time. That is a conviction play right there. You knew something. No, all jokes aside, next targets. I mean, I would probably take a lot of this out of the market. You're up, get a decent chunk. I don't know fundamentals on this, so I can only give you technicals. But my next target would probably be closer to like 19 to 20 if you're willing to hold this for, however long. But yeah, fundamentals wise, I'm not really familiar with it. But good stuff. Congrats, man. That's a big win for the Tradetopia squad right there. I didn't want to give out a bad play. I'm joking, bro. You can always just share what you have your mind on, really no one should be taking anything as like the end all be all by any means. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. We have Dow playing out of this order block here that nicely came down to take out all of this choppiness. So I actually feel like we could see NASDAQ now want to run a little bit more. Let's see what this thing, if this is going to do something interesting here. I could see it longing from here, how I drew it out before. Especially because it's now playing out of this order block right there. Yeah, so you guys ever have any stocks on your radar, big ones, small ones, whatever, just share them. That way we just have more eyes on it. Doesn't mean we have to take them. It's not an official idea, but we just have something to keep in mind. Also, the Mexican peso. This is one that I forgot to talk about for longs. So Mexican peso has also done a nice little sweep of liquidity from yesterday's New York Open. Nice push down, then the rally. So dependent on how everything else is looking over here, could be a good buy opportunity. I'm going to stay mindful of this because we do have like Swiss that is way more bullish. So I feel like Mexican peso might actually fail and this could drop lower. So I'm more focused on this one instead of this one here for the peso. And that basically sets the tone for just the market overall. For FOMC, guys, I think let's see what the market looks like. I'll be live about 15 minutes before we get anything. So let me go ahead and I'll schedule that here in the classroom. Guys, on the screen, I'm going to put the QR code if you want to join our FOMC session here later today. So if you want to, feel free to join that. Be our guest over here. Come hang out. It's the quote on the left. The one on the left gives you access to the free community. The one on the right is for the personal training of trading. That's if you're tired of your own shit, to be honest. That's the one you want to scan. If you're like, man, I gotta change my behaviors. I'm in this loop of absolute insanity. I need to get out of it and understand how to apply these principles to my life. Then that's the one for you. So it's application-based, evidence-based, feedback loops. But to join the FOMC session later, just make sure you scan the one on the left. That'll give you access to our free community and tons of resources and a whole bunch of other goodies. So you have that there. What I'll do also is I will drop the link in the chat now, because I know. And also a reminder, in our community has an app too. So if you don't have the school app, definitely take some time to check that out. The school app is pretty nice. You're in Snap stock at 7:30. Snapchat. Okay, let's see. We can take a look at Snapchat. I want to know everyone. Yeah, I want to know what everyone's doing. I'm down. Like, what are you guys interested in? Snap. I feel like I looked at Snapchat not too long ago here on the channel. All right. So with Snap, nice. Wait, what price did you say you got in at? 7:30? Dude, good stuff. Yeah, when it was squeezing here, you know what? I feel like I had this marked up not too long ago. Or something. I feel like we went over this. But yeah, nice on that. I mean, easy come up from 7:30. Easy come up to like 9 and change for sure. That's just like the absolute most conservative exit you could have. This has been ranging quite a bit. It's been in a multi-year squeeze. Oh, that's right. Okay, I do remember this now. So yeah, this has been squeezing sideways for years. This heads back to like, I'm talking 2022, even back below even COVID levels. So this has seen better days. We've seen the market go and hit 70 plus 80 before. Whether it's going to do that now, that's a completely different conversation. So what I'll do right now, real quick, is I'm going to pull up, because I know I've kind of created my my perspective on this. So let me just look for it real quick, because I kind of scored it outside of the technicals, like what if it's like an actual like a long-term good play or not. So revenue is increasing, slowing down a little bit, but the revenue is still going up, which is a good sign. Engagement growth still going up as well. Not really profitable, still negative, but it is getting better. Cash flow is decent. They're spending a lot on infrastructure AI, and competition is mid. So it's all right. It's decent. That's just off of a basic like breakdown here outside of that. But is it a good opportunity considering where it's at right now? Yeah, I think so. I think you have way more upside than downside for sure. Even if you just play within these like ranges, you still have like a pretty good potential. So, yeah, I'm not too mad about this. This is a decent play, dude. I'd say hold on to this. If you want to play conservative, like you can just trade within the ranges that you were seeing over here. Take this up to, see this. Maybe you see this go hit like $12 or something. And then now you're up like, if you got in at 7:30, chilling, up 60% or so. easy money. If you have high conviction on, because again, I'm giving you such a basic perspective because I'm not up to date with fundamentals, the vision that they're doing, collaborations that they might have, partnerships that they might have planned out, whatever. So I don't know. This might be a bigger play than I have information on at the moment. Technical speaking, it's just like, oh, could we get back to 70? Would be awesome, 10x. But there's probably a reason that we've tanked the way that we've tanked here. It seems like there's a lot of liquidity sitting around 1750. So if you like it that much, then yeah, taking this to 1750 seems good. That would give you a nice, 2 point something X. So decent. Yeah, I would add this to like, for example, like I'm going to start this, the stocks and the crypto flipping challenge. It's going to be 2 different challenges, but this would be one that I would probably have on there to catch this, because this can give you a 20-something% move in just a couple weeks. Like I did it here. It took like a month. Did it here. Took like another month. So this constantly has nice little ranges. Yeah, we're about to hit 2,000. I have option long for 35 till next September, but also invested into it. 35, huh? I mean, look, the fact that we've been squeezing for 3.5 years, I wouldn't be surprised if you get that massive pump. Like, I would not be surprised at all. 35, that's a mission right there. But I can see it. Give it a year. All right. Finally going to set up my funded account today with my aunt's help. Now that I seem to have fixed the holes in my trading plan, I'm ready to give real trading a shot. Going to start small, of course. Go crazy, man. Wish you the best. Understand that when you're starting to trade with a bit more stakes on the line, there's, you're going to have some emotions that maybe you didn't see before, you didn't experience as much before. But yeah, keep just, hold it down. Hold it down. All right, so to give a fresh indication here on indices in general, we've seen good rejections, good moves. We got that play earlier, this out of this zone, took it to here. Markets continue to drop. It looks like NASDAQ might continue work its way lower to this zone over here. So this is the zone that I'm interested in for buys. Curious to see what this looks like. Dow respected the order block over here, and then now it's playing bullish some more. Have a lot of imbalance as well. So honestly, this kind of sucks. Like, price action isn't the greatest. We're still seeing these move in opposite directions. So the long on NASDAQ might play out here for FOMC. Dow is going up again. So we'll see. And here's the thing. You don't have to trade FOMC. You don't have to trade it if there's nothing abundantly visible. So we're just going to wait for quality to show up, and we're going to go with that. But yeah, Snap, decent. I don't remember. No, we did talk about this. But question for you guys, because I know some of you were asking me about doing this challenge with stocks or with crypto. Would you guys want me to do my lift, dude? Look at this. Look at how we got scammed here. Wanted the entry under like 13 to 12. Filled the gap, didn't get us in, and then this thing just straight to 23. The audacity. But would you guys want me to do a video to just like kind of walk you through the psychology of this? And actually, this actually looks like a pretty similar chart to Snap. So like the May, everything dumped, moved sideways for like 3 years, and then now it's finally popping off. So Snap, I think, is going to have a similar approach. But yeah, so what I'm getting at is, would you guys want me to do a live on like just kind of, getting your accounts set up to do like these sort of, flips and things like that? And remember, the goal is going to be to basically just, you want to start with something that you're completely attached to. And then the pace in which that these things are going to happen could be fast, could be slow. So we'll just kind of see. Down for it. All right. Cool. So what I'm going to be doing for this flip challenge, I haven't decided if it's going to be a fixed percentage. I feel like that's doesn't really make sense. But I think most of the exits are going to be somewhere between 25 to 50% for the exits, and then we move on to the next one. But as far as the stocks go, yeah, Lyft having a huge day, up 13% today. Still pending. Lulu still just dollar cost average. Lucid here still kind of moving sideways. I want to get one more dump before the continuation. So Lucid might be the first entry. Lulu might be the first entry. Webull could be the first entry. And then we have updates on everything else. Pretty chill, stocks wise. Nothing crazy. Crypto wise, over here, we got some bullish days. KeyCat, here we go. What did I say yesterday? What did I tell you guys? I said, this thing loves to just do this. We would have done our 25% in like 4 hours over here. These base coins are crazy. Biggest losers on the day, Bonk, 3%, nothing crazy. Market's pretty chill overall. Bitcoin wanted to take out these highs, failed, working its way lower. How do you guys feel about Bitcoin? It's actually at a nice, looks like it's at a decent mitigation zone. Here's where it's sold off from. It looks like it's just tapped into it right now. What do you mean by first entry, Mike? What do you mean? For stocks? Like, for example, for this challenge that I'm going to do, I'm doing this for fun for me. You guys can be in for the ride if you like. So, for example, if I'm going to start with the first $1,000 investment to kick off the challenge, I was saying it could be with like Lululemon, it might be with Lucid, it could be with like Snapchat. Yeah, Bitcoin looks like it could give a solid mitigation here. We could also take a look at ETH. ETH is trading down here as well. So, but Bitcoin already at this area. I think we could get a little lower here. Here's where we saw another dip down before the continuation. So imbalance, previous levels of last points of supply. So you can see resistance, support, like all of that over here in the past. I think we could see a nice Bitcoin trade here. Something like this. Looks intriguing. 2R, 3R potentials. I'm open to this idea for sure. Oh, it looks like oil wanted to just take me out and then dump. Sick. You might join. Yeah, I'll walk you guys through it. I mean, I'm going to make a video, upload. It's going to be a series. That's how I'm thinking about it. Like, it'll be just a series, like flip, the beginning, flip 1, flip 2. We'll see how far we can make it. I'll have probably some rules regarding it too. Like, for example, because there's no way. Well, I mean, anything is possible, but the chances of us, like, let's say, getting 25 to 50% profit 25 times in a row without one of them like going wrong, it'd be pretty impressive. So I'll probably have some sort of drawdown rules as well. So for example, like, instead of just only taking the entry with absolutely no consideration to the drawdown, would be, I'd say, a little foolish. But like, even this is kind of sketchy with like Lululemon, because this, if it were like, for example, if we were to get in now, this could see 20% drawdown or more. Like, it's possible. It's not impossible here. And so am I open to it? What's my ruling behind that? To make, for our challenge, 35, 50% or something. So even then, like, I'll probably have some sort of our rules here in place. So if let's say we're going to take an entry like here, then if I'm going to go for, 15% drawdown, if I have max 17% drawdown, I'm going to give myself, or if let's say I want to target, let's say this is the entry, and I'm like, all right, cool, we're going to go for just a 30% move here. Then, all right, well, what's the amount of drawdown I'm willing to see? All right, 17 to make 30. What's a 1.5 R? Is that worth it? Sure. So just to add a different elements to the game now, even when I do the flips, it's going to be more like, I'm going to have some of these just for my portfolio in general to hold differently, and then some for specifically for the challenge. And then I'm going to do one for stocks, and then we're going to have here the list and the order, entry, all price, date, all that good stuff. And then we'll have the same thing, but for crypto. Don't rate cuts usually lead to a decent retracement in the markets and then settle low for the next big expansion? That can happen, yeah. That's typical. One thing that you always want to be mindful of is assumptions. Right? Assumptions is one of the big ones. Like, well, this always happens. And so, like, we start to trade our assumptions, not just what the market's showing us. And yeah, so regarding indices in general, like how some stocks play out and how individual stocks and how, in Dow Jones, NASDAQ, S&P, like they all have a complex like movement across the board. That's how we just respond to whatever shows up. Will the challenge be open to anyone in the community? Yeah. Yeah, sure. I could gatekeep it, right? The only way you do the challenge with me is if you give me $1 million. $1 million. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be uploading, like, what I'm doing. So it's going to be pretty much open. It'll be more fun that way. Or should I just gatekeep it? All right, sorry, guys. You have to be in the syndicate to do it. No more fun for everybody. Too bad. All right, so, yeah, I'll give you guys an update on it. You'll probably see an upload from me regarding it here in the next couple days. But cool. I'll see you guys live in a little bit. There should be a calendar open. Where is this thing? Let me see. Where is this? All right. FOMC live. All right, I'm just making a quick calendar here so you guys can see it and then opt into it. Where is this thing? Oh, here we go. All right, you guys should be able to see it now on there. And then requests, I'm accepting some requests. All right, later, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. This Bitcoin setup looks good to me. I'll probably be taking this here whenever it triggers. And then if you're not in the community, go ahead here, scan that. Appreciate you guys being on. Let's see what else the market has in store for us. Hopefully you enjoyed the profits for the day, if you had any. And if you lost something on the day, find a way to enjoy that too. So take care, guys. Peace out.